objective that the company has. Another key thing relating to this is that leadership may happen at all levels. Leadership, like if you look at the state of Kenya, we have leadership at various levels. We have national leadership under the president. We have county leadership under county commissioners. We have political leadership that is directed from the point of view of Parliament, Senate, levels like county governors and their respective roles and activities. So leadership is something that is directed from different levels. So even at home, there are homes that are successful and run. It's because there are good leadership there. Communities, it's leadership that make things together. So it is important to take a note of all that. Then of course, also very important that leadership inspires people to perform duties willingly and enthusiastically. Is that inspiration aspect of leadership that it inspires people to perform things willingly. Then of course, there's also a social influence which a leader exerts by encouraging voluntary participation. So it is important to remember those key aspects as far as leadership is concerned. I believe with all that, we can be able to summarize that leadership involves ability to direct other people towards achieving a common goal or a common objective. That there should be a non-coercive influence. It involves coordination of activities. It involves mobilizing people. It happens at all levels. It's an art of inspiration and also a social influence process. So all those can be used as a way of defining what leadership is and necessary. Now, next thing we want to look at are theories of leadership. We want to look at a few theories that may relate to what leadership is. The first theory that we want to look at is known as the path-goal theory of leadership. Path-goal theory of leadership normally explain the leader's behavior that the leader's behavior has on the subordinate. For example, the leader would motivate the subordinate to talk about their satisfaction and performance as far as leadership is concerned. So it emphasizes that the leader can optimize organizational effectiveness by influencing the path, goal, perception of subordinates and their need satisfaction. What it means that there is a path towards a particular goal that each and every subordinate has. Now, in that style of leadership, we have four major categories, four major styles as far as path goal leadership is concerned. The first style that we're going to look at is directive leadership. Now, directive leadership is where the leader has it all, that he does everything by himself. In other words, subordinates are just there to perform what the leader wants. gives subordinates are expected to follow. So the followers are expected to bring in an input. It means that everything is centered around the leader. The second style of leadership, path goal theory, is that it talks about a supportive leader. Supportive leader is friendly and approachable and shows a genuine concern for subordinates. In other words, is keen, is interested in the people that he leads, and of course allow them to approach him, sometimes even with their suggestion, with the way they want things done. However, the issue about the supportive leader is that as much as he allows them to express themselves, he allows them to approach him, does not necessarily mean that he will take their opinion and implement. So in other words, he's keen on, interested in the affairs that the led are going through. The next type of style is participative leadership. This is where the leader asks for and uses suggestions. The leader asks and uses suggestions from the followers. You may ask them to give input and then actually use. Sometimes he gives them opportunity to make decisions. Sometimes he allows them to undertake delegated work. In this case, you find that the leader is much more involved in team spirit, building team effort from his followers. The fourth one, the step number 4, is achievement-oriented leader. Achievement-oriented leader is one which sets challenging tasks, give their followers opportunity to participate in projects, in activities that will build their confidence, give them room enough to be able to make decisions which can be measured, which can allow them to gain recognition, gain a lot of confidence, build their career, build their aspirations. So this is the fourth. As you can see, it develops from directive, supportive, participative, and achievement-oriented. So in other words, this style of leadership, it starts from the lowest point to the highest point of leadership. Are we together? The next type of leadership style or theory is called trait theory of leadership. Trait theory of leadership. Now, trait theory is related to characteristic traits that a leader demonstrates, and that the ability of a leader is dependent on what inborn characteristics, those things that were those characteristic traits that he was born with. Like we may have belief that a leader is born, not made, that mostly leadership strength come from birth, that they are genetically transmitted from parents, that those who have been successful leaders, for example, have been actually born. So you'll find that some of the traits that we can think of are personal initiative, for example. There are people who are naturally take initiative. There are people who are self-assured that they can actually perform. There are people who are decisive. They make decisions without a blink of an eye. There are people who are very assertive because it's something that is, feeling that this is something that they are born with. There are those who are naturally compassionate. There are those who exhibit intelligence, and you find that how they manage to solve difficult things is a matter of they are actually intelligent. That gives them that. Then there are those who have ability to think ahead, or to see what is happening in the future and deal with it even before it comes. They can be able to visualize a challenge in the future and put measures to deal with it even before it actually comes. Of course, this is how people speak, how people reason, the eloquence and the charisma and such like, and wisdom. So you find that all these are character traits that people are born with. Now, not everyone will have all these character traits within them. There are people who can take personal initiative, but sometimes they lack decisiveness. There are people who are assertive, but sometimes they lack compassion. There are people who may be intelligent, but they lack decisiveness. There are people who can handle situation currently, but they may not be able to think ahead. So you find that people may have different personal traits, and not everyone may have it all. Are we together? So that's the second theory. The third theory is contingency theory. This theory states that a leader should be able to adapt to specific situations as they arise. Like, for example, the way the COVID thing arose in the world today, it demonstrates, or it gives opportunities for leaders to come up with ways of handling them. And you can see how those kind of situations have led to new things being introduced, new modes of operation being put in place. Like, for example, these online classes is adapting to the situation that is on the ground. Today it's not possible to meet for direct instruction as we did before. But through leadership, the university has decided that we are not going to just wait until COVID ends, but we have a way of handling the situation. That is contingency theory, that a leader needs to be able to adapt to specific situation so as to handle it. So being ready and being prepared for change, being ready and being anticipating that in case of a circumstance coming up, then the leader needs to be able to deal with it. So this contingency theory has advantages whereby a leader is allowed to make decisions appropriate to that particular situation. A leader is encouraged to analyze logically the characteristics of the situation. Now you are wondering, how can you be in a situation where you have to make a decision? For example, if it's the policy of the organization that you only receive cash payment for any sales in a restaurant, that is the policy, cash payment only. What if you get a client who wants to pay by credit card? What if you have a client that wants to conduct a SWIFT code transfer? What do you do in such a situation? You need to be able to make decisions very quickly. So anything that arises at that particular moment, how do you handle it? That is what we call contingency theory of leadership. Now, some disadvantages of this theory, you can just look at them, is that to the subordinates, the leader may appear to be inconsistent and insincere because of frequent changes. Because of a situation one day he made a decision. Then another circumstance come and make a different decision. So sometimes you find that, how comes so and so managed to get this and managed to get that at that particular time, and why, how comes I'm not able to get those kind of maybe favors, for example. So you find that inconsistencies may erode the subordinates' confidence in the leader. Then at times, a leader may not be sufficiently skilled or may not have that authority to make decision at that particular situation. So that may make that type of theory to be very hard to implement. For example, the policy says that you must follow a particular procedure. And here is a situation comes where it's not possible to follow the procedure and you have no authority to make a decision. So it might be stressful, it must be a challenge. So sometimes you might lose business just because of the policy and lack of authority to make decision. Are we together? Are we together? Are we together? I hope we are together. Now, where your classmates, they decided not to come to school. They don't have bundles. They can buy a bundle for 10 bob. You can be able to take them for about 30 minutes. You should encourage one another. 10 bob, 10 shillings. You can be online for about 30 minutes. 150, 200 MBs. So I've sent a message. I think I sent a message. I think I sent a message on email. So maybe someone can forward the message on WhatsApp. So let's look at, so here we have discussed 3 theories: trait theory, path goal theory, and contingency theory. Now I want to give you a third one. It's not in the notes, but I'm going to state it. So you need to open your ears or maybe put some notes. This is called the great man theory. Now, the great man theory of leadership has got assumption that actually is more or less related to the fact that leaders are born or leaders are made. One is related to the trait theory that we're talking about. So great man theory has assumption that leaders are born and they are not made. That for one to be effective leader, they have that ability inborn, inherited from their parents. And then the second assumption is that a great leader would emerge at a time of difficulty or at a time when there is a great need, when there is a crisis. That is where a great leader emerges to now lead people out of the situation. So you find that in many cases you have found that people who had emerged at a time when there was a lot of maybe a crisis or there was so much difficulty, it is attributed to them that they arose to come and be the savior at a time of great need. This has happened mostly in political leadership, especially when someone emerges to help rescue people from oppression, for example, when there was the clamor for democracy, maybe in African countries, then there are people who arose to speak on behalf of the masses, and they were considered great leaders who stood up against the prevailing authority and countered them. Look at some of the World War experiences. Some leaders arose and fought against the evil of World War. Look at the War of Independence, or the period, pre-independent period. Kenyatta arose in Kenya and was a symbol of leadership. He was considered great, that is Jomo Kenyatta, as a way of dealing with a situation that made people to feel oppressed and subjected to inhuman treatment, and he arose and spoke against the evils of colonialism. That's a great leader. Talk about, if you look at the Bible, for example, Moses. Moses came at a time when the children of Israel were really, really oppressed. And even today, the Jews considers Moses as a great leader. In fact, they have so much respect for Moses. And many other leaders across the world. Look at this civil rights advocate, Martin Luther. He's considered the originator of black man rights in America. And it culminated in the first African American president. So you find that he's considered a great leader because of they arise at a time of crisis, at a time when there's a lot of oppression. So you find that that theory is also there. Now, the last theory of leadership I want us to look at is a behavioral theory of leadership. Now, this behavioral theory, you'll find it in some of our writing or books as discussed on its own. However, I just want to tell you that behavioral theory is more or less the same as the trait theories, because those behavior patterns are actually exhibited by a person's traits, that is the characteristic traits that they have. It is important to take note of that. And also, it assumes that there are certain traits that are learned, or it relates to the traits that are learned, or that leadership can be learned, or a leader can learn skills of leadership rather than just relying on inborn traits. So mostly behavioral theory assumes that leaders are more of made rather than born. So they can base their leadership on definable and learnable behavior. That's why today you find that there are training for leadership, training for managers, training for people to be able to take up positions that, of course, you find that even that person who has got the natural leadership skills, they also need training on how to handle and how to manage any affairs of a business or of society. Are we together? Very good. So remember those 5 that we have discussed: behavioral theories, trait theories, great man theories, path goal theory, and contingency theory. Good. Let's look at leadership styles. Leadership styles. Yes, the first style there I've indicated there is yes, this is authoritarian leader. Authoritarian leader. Now, this type of leader is mostly focused on the authority that they have and to undertake responsibilities in organizations. And mostly it relies on the power that the office gives in order to assign and lead people around them. And mostly they assign work and expect their followers or the people they lead to undertake those type of work and complete it without questioning. So you just have to tell the worker what to do, how to do it, and when to do it, and the workers implement the work without asking any question. Now, it's more or less similar to the autocratic style that is indicated there, which involve also close supervision. It gives precise details or detailed instruction to cover every task. And in many cases, autocratic leader mostly demonstrate dictatorial leadership style that even if procedure is wrong, it has to be used. It doesn't matter. So you find that you might be required to perform a duty even whether it is right or wrong. Whether you like it or whether it's giving you result or, but you have to follow the procedure according to what the leader has stated. Now, you also find that the autocratic leader rewards those who do according to their expectations and penalizes those who fail to perform. So there's a lot of rewards and penalties. Then there's also strict control. And the leader does not show any respect to the subordinates. So you have to perform your work and achieve results. Nothing else, nothing more. You have to work according to the expectation of the leader. Now, any complaint and any dissent is not tolerated by the leader, meaning you cannot complain, you cannot raise your voice and say that we are not being handled well. It is important to note that about autocratic leadership styles. So the manager in this case, for example, the leader, whatever title they have, wants to retain as much power and decision-making authority as possible. So they want to retain as much power and decision-making. So he will never share, he never consult employees, he never allow them to give an input. Employees are expected to obey without questioning. And there'll be no explanation given for decision. So take that decision, take that order, do it, perform it without asking questions. So the key thing is that you want people to perform, reward those who are willing to cooperate, then punish those who are causing trouble. That is the thing. Reward those who are willing to cooperate, but punish those who are causing trouble. Now, do you think it is advantageous? Are we together? Do you think it is advantageous? Autocratic or authoritarian leadership style, is it advantageous? Is it disadvantageous? Yes, it has got quite a number of advantages. Let me hear. Maybe there are people who have ideas here. Jennifer, do you think it is advantageous? Do you think it's advantageous? Yes, I think it has quite a number of advantages. Yeah, there are some advantages given here. There you are. The managers can coordinate work effectively and ensuring that activities are completed because there are no dissenting voices or those who want to cause trouble. Work is done and completed very quickly. Then decision making, because there is no involvement of others in decision making, it can be completed very fast. Then, of course, their subordinates are assisted in completing their work, especially when given full instruction to perform the duty. Another advantage, you can see that it reduces stress due to increased control. It reduces stress. Well, how does it reduce stress? Because there's so much control that things are placed in order and things run smoothly, and people perform according to instruction. Then it makes it less stressful. Then also you can add that there's more production or increased production, because there's increased production because each and every, the led group, they work as the leader watches, you have those classic supervisors or foremen. They are there always looking at you as you work. So no one is going to waste time with chit chats. So they have to work. So you can also add that. What about the disadvantages? One, employees' skills are not utilized effectively because they are direct, they are always direct, they are always given a roadmap, what they are supposed to do, not allowing them to be creative. Of course, that is also a second point. Employees' creativity is hampered or stifled. It doesn't allow for creativity. Then also, workers cannot work without supervision. People, when they are accustomed to being supervised closely, then anytime the leader is absent, then people relax and they don't work. They don't give themselves because did you see him come? People always ask, is so and so in today? Fourth, there's a lot of resentment for the leader. People resent the leader. They develop hateful attitude towards the leader, and because of the way he handles them. So such kind of things. Then of this over dependence on the leader, everything he has to be asked. Of course, for the manager, there's a lot of workload because you have to watch everyone. That is too much. It is too taxing. A lot of workload, lot of things to do. And of course, the leader has got only short-term approach to management. Short-term approach to management. By just micromanaging people, watching them and giving them, you have no time to think ahead, vision or visualize the future or plan for future activities effectively because you are focused on ensuring work is done right here and then let's look at another style of leadership called democratic style of leadership. It's not here, but we're going to discuss it. I'll include the notes here in a short while. We have democratic style of leadership. Now, this style of leadership promotes sharing of responsibilities. Promote sharing of responsibilities between the leader and the subordinates. In many cases, you realize that the leader ensure that his team members participate in the job through delegation and consultation and sharing of responsibilities. Through delegation, consultation, and sharing of responsibilities. So you can write them. I'll be able to project it later on. The style has the following characteristics. Democratic style has the following characteristics. One is that the manager consults on all major issues and decisions. The manager consults on all major issues and decisions. Secondly, the manager can effectively delegate tasks to subordinates and give them full control. The manager can effectively delegate tasks to subordinates and give them full control. So delegation of tasks. Then 3, manager welcomes feedback on the results of initiative and work environment. The manager welcomes feedback. That is, they allow the subordinates to give him feedback as far as the work done is concerned and as far as the work environment or the working condition is concerned. Then there is also leadership development, especially among subordinates. In other words, the manager encourages other members, especially the subordinates, to become leaders in themselves. So they give them opportunity to develop as leaders by sometimes delegating the work, sometimes ensuring that they accomplish this and accomplish that. Now, what are the advantages? Now, this is a task for you. Give me 5 advantages, 5 disadvantages of democratic leadership style. Discuss the question here on the portal, on the public page. Discuss the importance of democratic style of leadership. Now, discussing importance means give me advantages and disadvantages. Yes, give me advantages and disadvantages. I can see people are already writing the answers there. That's good. So you'll be able to give me that as we continue. Advantages and disadvantages. I think I'm going to post it as a quiz. So you can be able to write the same. Now, free reign, or sometimes known as laissez-faire style of leadership. This is where things are left to drift. It's a French term. Laissez-faire is a French term, which means leave it to be, that things are left to drift by. And this is a method of leadership where workers are allowed to work without interference from management. They just set their work structure, work decisions, targets, and then they perform the work. You find that in many cases, the leaders don't necessarily show up or is in the picture often to direct things, but the worker himself or the employee himself or themselves are there to make decisions and to plan their work activities. They would consult the leader, but the leader is not directly involved. Or the leader would tell them what to do and what to accomplish, but then the workers decide on how to accomplish that particular work. And then, of course, communication flows horizontally. That is across between the members. You find that, just give me a moment there. As you write the advantages and disadvantages of the other method, also discuss the advantages and disadvantages of free reign leadership style. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of free reign leadership style. Yes, you can be able to make that discussion as we are proceeding on. So I'm putting it on a discussion forum, forum discussion forum, advantages and disadvantages. There are, wow, good. I can see some very good ones placed there by Caroline. Yeah, and you can continue going ahead and make those discussions. So just continue putting your discussion, advantages and disadvantages of free reign style of leadership, and as well as the previous one, of democratic style of leadership. I've just seen the discussion from Caroline. Right. Now we can see that advantages of free reign style of leadership. Jennifer, you're the only one. The rest are disappearing. That's people do not work for the leader. The leader not necessarily get involved. Secondly, we can see that it empowers the group members or the employees. And then it allows the visionary workers the opportunity to do what they want, free from interference. So in many cases, you find that workers are free to perform what they can do without interference from the leader. And disadvantages, one, is that employees feel insecure. Employees might feel insecure. Especially if there is a feeling of unavailability of the leader. They might feel insecure if there is a feeling of unavailability of the leader. Secondly, you find that managers are not there to provide regular feedback. You know, sometimes employees need a feedback to get to know how things are moving, but when that feedback is not there, there may be frustration. Then it's also sometimes not easy to take note of good work done by members or employees, because sometimes you need someone to pat your back and say that, well done, a great job. But because many a times the leader is not actually there to do that, you find that you just have to encourage yourself. Are we together? The last thing we want to look at is qualities of a good leader. Qualities of a good leader. So let's look at qualities of a good leader. That is the last area we want to look at. Now, one is the ability to inspire. So a leader should be inspirational, someone who can be able to unearth your potential or unlock the strength that are deeply within you. Somebody who can motivate you to put your best effort towards achieving your objectives. So in most cases, you find that these are especially a quality that is you find with charismatic leaders. People who can be inspirational, can motivate, motivational speakers. They tend to be attractive, interesting, and give you that extra special attention. Then two, ability to understand human behavior. That is, they need to know how people understand people and get the best out of people. So they must possess social skills that allow them to perform. Then three, somebody who is similar to the group. They have similarity with the group. They are previously done exactly what the subordinates are doing. If is a manager, then they must understand the activities in terms of education, viewpoints, and whatever, or what the subordinates are doing. Of course, assertiveness is very essential. Somebody who can speak their mind, somebody who can be able to express confidence, somebody who can talk confidently without fear of being ridiculed or without fear of being misconstrued. Somebody who can express themselves. Someone who is honest, somebody who tells the truth, no matter whether it affects their credibility or affects their no matter whether it is easy or difficult, they can be able to see that I made a mistake and it led to this problem. So someone who can discuss negative things honestly without hiding them. Then of course, dedicated to the goals of the organization. In other words, they're supposed to be determined that the organization's objective will take precedent against the self-objectives, personal objectives. Another very important one is willingness to take risks. Somebody who can take risks, that they can be able to make decisions despite the fact that it can lead to loss, injury, or disadvantage, or even defeat. So that is very important quality that can lead people to success. But of course, it's also important to not to take so many great risks consistently, because you need to be able to have a good balance of risk taking and looking at the situation around which the decisions are made. Then, of course, willingness to take full responsibility. This is a quality that is very key, very essential, but sometimes you find that leaders tend to lack it, especially when something did not turn out the way the leader expected, and it's a decision that led to failure. Are you willing to take full responsibility? That's very important quality. Then also, a leader needs to be supportive of others, especially the people under them. Ensure that he's always taking their interest, or view their interest, or take their interest as a priority. And the interests of the employees should be a matter that the leader needs to always have. Then possessing an art of compromise. An art of compromise is very, very important that a leader needs to be able to have. That sometimes, instead of being confrontational or sticking to a position where you never see that, never will I allow, it is important for a leader to be able to compromise so that it helps. It's a success in society through maybe by arbitration or mediation, or to reach intermediate solution, because you'll face different viewpoints on matters that are important. If you take a hardline position, for example, as a leader, then you might end up losing. Or even if you gain, but the gain might be short-lived. So therefore, compromise sometimes can be a significant quality. Then, of course, this is also a difficult one. Ability to tolerate criticism. Now, leaders are criticized all over the world. Is now no leader, no person in position of authority can escape criticism. So you find that as long as you're in a position of leadership, you have to know that there are people who will not like you, will not like your ideals. People will say negative things about you. Even if you try your very best, there are still people who will have something to pick from your character, from your work and whatever. So how do you handle that? Are you going to put everyone into prison? Are you going to sack every employee? In fact, if you are in a position of leader now, you need to know that they will say all manner of things about you. But then you come and you'll hear, so there are people who will come and report to you. They were there in the forum where they were discussing you, negative things about you. Then another will come and tell you all the negative things people are saying. Then are you going to call a meeting and fire everyone? Now, This is where the quality is important. How do you tolerate criticism? So the key thing is develop a thick skin, ability to overcome. So I think this is what we wanted to discuss on leadership. And I think, I don't know whether I posted it, but if I've not posted, I'll post it, okay? Any question up to that point? Any question? Helen, how are you? Helen, welcome. Now, it's amazing that just a few numbers come to this class always. And the rest, I thought we were, I think 20. Were 20 of us. Where did the others go to? So any question? If there is no question, I'll put my questions. Some of us have done the work I gave. Some of us have not completed this work. Now it is important that you do them and complete them so that we mark them. Just remember last week I told you that we might even do an online paper, okay? Now next week, are we together? Next week there is a cut. Cut starting from topic 8 to topic 11. Are we together? Hello? There is a cut starting from topic 8 to topic 11. There will be a cut next week, all right? So I'm putting it here, cut next week. Now, in our class, I'm going to set it to open at 11:30, okay? It will be 1 hour. And it will contain, it will be total 20 marks. Question 1 to 13 will be multiple choice questions. And question 14 and 15 will be essay questions. They are just 2 questions of essay question, very simple. So the 13 question will be multiple choice, or maybe 10 questions, but 13 marks will be multiple choice, 7 marks essay questions. So next week, be prepared from week 13, all right? Not from week 8, sorry, from today, from week 8. This is week 8 work, topic 8 work. That's where the cut will come from, right? So inform these ones who are not coming to class, that there will be a cut. And so that they don't miss out. So that's the class attendance. So as I told you that the ZU, the ZTech University programs are doing their exams now. So you might actually be asked to be the next. So just get ready, get prepared, so that when eventually exams come about, it's something that you are well aware of. Now, there are activities that have been posting from from leadership, stress and conflict, employee participation, emerging trends. You need to be able to complete those activities. Complete them so that we are on the same page. There are some recordings placed here about leadership. You can listen to them, maybe you can download them and listen to them. Then all these activities, the quizzes, the forum, make sure you complete them if you have not completed them. So our cut will range from questions from this topic 8, this one, leadership, stress and conflict management, employee participation in management, emerging trends. So that's the area where we are going to focus on. Are we together? Now, just want to put to you some questions here related to this topic. Some questions related to this topic, topic 8, leadership. I want to fix the questions in form of a quiz, but let me give you one to chew on as I am fixing them in form of a quiz. Write down this one. State 4 ways in which servant leadership may be demonstrated in organization. State 4 ways in which servant leadership may be demonstrated in an organization. State 4 ways in which servant leadership may be demonstrated in an organization. Did you get it? State 4 ways in which servant leadership may be demonstrated in an organization. So that one is a discussion question for you. You can post your contribution there, or I'll set for you a forum so that you can write your answers there as well. But so this one, I'm still working on it, so don't try to do it right now. So I've hidden it from you. So you cannot access it until I've completely updated it. But once I have updated, I'll give you that opportunity to answer it. But this one is a discussion forum. You can be able to handle it right here and then. You will find it written forum. And asking, state the ways in which servant leadership the ways in which servant leadership may be demonstrated in organization. So this is a forum, you can post your contribution to it, and you are good to go. So you can just go click on it, and it will give you that position where you just click on it, and it will give you a place where you add your discussion. It will give you a place to talk about servant leadership. That's how it will come about. And then you put your there, and then you post to a forum. Are we together? Yeah. You go add new discussion, put it there, post to forum. Then there you go. So that's how you be able to add to it, okay? So other questions I'll be able to update related to leadership, I'll be able to update them on that quiz. I've not yet updated, but I'll update them later on. I'll update those ones. Is there any question up to that point? Any question? Any question? Yeah, I want to share some questions with you so that we can see how the questions are. I hope you are seeing that. Mostly the questions on leadership are not here, but question number 6, number 15B. Question number 15B, you can see that highlight 6 skills that a good leader should possess. Highlight 6 skills that a good leader should possess. Who can answer that? Who can answer that? Are you able to see it? Is it visible? Let's elaborate on it. Are we together? Someone to answer this, highlight 6 skills that a good leader should possess. Catherine, are you there? 6 skills that a good leader should possess. Catherine, what are the skills that a leader should possess? Yes. You got the question? I can see people's answers. Willingness to communicate, good. Dedication to goals, yes. Honesty, should be understanding, confidence, assertiveness. Good. They're the skills that we just looked at a few moments ago. Now, such questions, you'll find them in the quiz. You should be able to answer them. A past paper like this also, you can see they have several questions on areas that we have covered. After our cut, we'll be looking at past papers and revisiting those topics that we did earlier, especially the ones we did while in physical class, so that we can update ourselves. As you can see, question number 15C, explain 4 ways which employee can react to work-related frustration. These are related to frustration. Outline 6 factors that may determine employees' attitude in organization. Remember we did attitude. What factors? 14, explain 4 reasons that make it necessary for managers to understand the area of personality. Why should reasons for personality? Very important. Number 14B, part 1, explain the meaning of term group as used in human relation. So this one I think we did in class. Explain 5 factors that may enhance group formation in an organization. So you can see these questions relate to the very things that we had discussed earlier. And so you need to remember them. Also the one that I projected earlier, this one, for example, talk of so I'll photo these ones and put them, upload them so that you can be able to access them to revise them so that we are good to go. You can see outline 4 benefits that may be associated with involving employees in management in organization. This is the topic where we talked about employees' involvement in management. So what are the benefits? For explain 4 measures that management of an organization may take to prevent intergroup conflicts. This is where we looked at conflict management. We talked about intergroup conflicts. Explain 4 functions of public relation department in an organization. Public relation department, which topic is this one in? Which topic is this? Yeah, you need to understand what public relation is and which department is that. Identify the levels of Maslow hierarchy of needs, giving an example of in each case. That is those levels of hierarchy. Remember, like we have basic level, we have security, we have social, we have esteem. Then in relation to Artsberg two-factor theory, highlight 5 factors that may contribute to employee satisfaction. Yes, two-factor theories, the satisfiers. You remember the satisfiers like recognition. Then explain 5 strategies that management of an organization may adopt to enhance employees' positive attitude towards change. So this is also very important. So you can be able to look at that. Did you look at anything related to change management? So all those areas that look a little bit new, we will be able to discuss such areas like change management, public relations, and other key areas. So as we do our revision, it will highlight to us areas that might have been left out in the course outline so that we are good to go. That's why it is important that we all participate in revision. Are we together? So I'm going to end this meeting because I want you to participate in doing the work that I'm going to put on the quiz. Are we together? So in a moment, I'm uploading a few questions on the quiz so that you can do them. And secondly, all those activities that I have given out on the, make sure you do them if you have not done them. There are people who have actually done them and they can access their grades on the portal, but there are those who have not done them. So make sure you do them so that we are good to go, okay? So I'm going to end this sharing, but you can still remain on the portal to do a few things here and there, okay? Is there any question, any problem, any issue, any concern? Good, good. I believe there is no concern, no problem, no issue. So I might end this conference, okay?